Are you tired of manual server setup? Discover how Red Hat Satellite can automate your provisioning process and save you hours of work. Yes, that's right. As you can imagine, there are different ways to provision on Satellite, different kind of scenarios. For this specific video, we will be covering one very common scenario, which is third-party DNS, third-party DHCP, one satellite server, and that's all. At the end of the day, you should be able to spin up your server via network, PXE, using the PXE technology. After that, that server should be hitting satellites, and from there, you should be able to use the Discovery tool. If you are excited, as I am, let's go to the video. So basically, let's think like this. I have my company, my environment, and in my environment, I have already my DNS and the DHCP. Everything is up and running, everything is okay. I don't want to set up any of those in my satellite server, and that is fair enough. That is okay. After that, we can see our little guy over there, the satellite up and running. No provisioning yet, just the basic, like providing content, registration, reporting, this kind of stuff. One attention point that we need to have here is in your DHCP server, there is one entry called next server, not TFTP-next, but next-server. This is one TFTP configuration in a way that your DHCP, whenever you boot up your client on that specific subnet or network, the DHCP server will be able to say, hey, if you're looking for TFTP, this is the guy. And this guy should be pointing to satellite server. As we can see here, the DHCP server is just pointing to satellites. In satellite side, we need to enable some stuff. And what are those stuffs? So we have the repositories. In this case, we are not talking about Kickstart repositories. We are talking about the base repositories. Let's say that you are starting right now, fresh install of your satellite. In this scenario, we are going to deploy a RHEL 8 server. Then yes, in this case, I need to enable and sync my RHEL 8, base OS and AppStream, and eventually my satellite client, because there are some nice features, nice tools that I would like to be using. So that is a third repository that I would be enabling. After that, we need the Kickstart. So basically, Kickstart is the structure that will allow your content host to boot up via network, start the installation, and after install, the system will be based on the version of that Kickstart. In other words, if I enable my Kickstart 8.10, my machine will be installed as 8.10. If I enable 8.5, my machine will end up as 8.5. The next one is the subnet. This is very important. I'm gonna tell you why during the video. So don't miss, don't skip, don't jump. Just stick with me. The subnet is a very important piece of this puzzle. So stick with me. Let's take a look. After that, we have the activation key. What is the activation key? Activation key is used to register with no interaction. I can call subscription manager, passing the activation key, and at the end of the process, my machine will get registered on satellite. And yes, we wanted that. And why is that? Because imagine I'm provisioning my server, the server will do the installation automated, and at the end of the day, I would like to see that machine registered on satellite server. The next one is host group. If you're not familiar yet with host group, fear not, but keep in mind this, host group is very useful because in the host group, we can combine a lot of stuff, a lot of information, and it will be pretty simple. It will be pretty easy to do this kind of provisioning. Also, there is a nice cool thing about host group called nested host group configuration. I'm afraid I will not be able to cover this in this video because if yes, will be a huge video. I don't want to do that, but I will definitely spend some time just to create a different video talking about host group, nested host group, and the benefits and why, where, when use this, because this is gold. So basically, we have all those components that we need to configure properly. Once we have this, what will happen is my content host. So basically, I have one new server. This server will be my network. The process basically will be this content host going to pick one IP address. And yes, in this video, I'm gonna cover DHCP in the client side. So the content host is gonna pick one IP address from this DHCP server. Together with this DHCP server will come the next server information. So in that moment, the machine will know, okay, I have this information next server. Then once I'm looking for the TFTP, I will land on the satellite server like this. And after that, what will happen is a beauty screen will appear in your content host where there is this option called FDI, Form and Discover Image. And this is the one that we'll be covering in this video, this session. This seems too much. I will not spend more time here. Let's go to the screen and enjoy the ride. First, we have this web browser, and then you say, Wally, where can I find all this information, detailed information, if I would like to get some additional resources? docs.redhat.com. Always keep in mind that you can access this documentation. This is open. You don't need to log in. You can click on Explore All Products. After that, Red Hat Satellite. You can keep in the latest version. This is going to provide you the latest information. From here, I like to search by prov of provisioning. This is the documentation. So basically, we can click over here. I like to pick single page. And this is the whole document talking about provisioning different scenarios, different implementations. You can see here aside that we have a lot of stuff. Basically, one that we'll be covering today is discovering hosts on a network. And eventually you can combine those configurations from different scenarios. Again, I'm gonna create like a series of provisioning because once you have different ways to provision one server, it is hard to create one single video to cover all of them. So yes, I'm gonna split this in different videos, different scenarios, and I'm sure that you can go to the playlist and check the playlist about provisioning. Cool, take a look in the documentation, read everything that you need. You can see some package, some commands that we need to run just to prepare your satellite because as I said before, the satellite that I do have right now has nothing to do with provisioning. It is not ready at all. So it is a basic install. Okay, I will not be copy and paste here today, but let me show some stuff. One command that I run was this one, satellite installer, and I'm passing some flags. -- foreman proxy HTTP true, foreman proxy HTTP boot true, and foreman proxy TFTP true. The most important one for this specific scenario is this one because I'm gonna be using TFTP. But definitely you can keep all of them, and all the commands that I'm using in this video will be available in the description down below. So we can see this satellite was executed and this ended up with success. This is good, this is amazing, this is the expected. If you try this kind of implementation your side and you do not see this one here, don't keep going because at the end of the day, something is failing. So you need to fix what is failing before you keep going. Okay, I have this one finished. The next command that I run was this guy. Satellite maintain, package, install, foreman-discover-image. And as you can see here, FDI. Yeah, the same FDI that we are seeing here. And why is that important? Because again, we are going to use this feature. I need FDI install available. And the way to do that is by doing this. I'm installing the package. And when you install a package using satellite maintain, the satellite installer will be executed just to confirm that everything is working fine. So we can see here, Form discovery image on this specific version coming from this specific repository was installed, or it is trying to install. There are some dependencies, that's okay, no big deal. And at the bottom of this one, we can see that satellite installer was called. And once again, we can see success. Then, okay, we are good to go. We are good to move it on. Then I have this third terminal, and don't get lost. All the three terminals here, they're in the same server. Satellite, you can see satellite. It was just for the sake of visualization and presentation. I just opened multiple terminals to the same server, and I executed in a sequence. So in this one, we can see satellite installer, enable Foreman proxy plugin discovery. Hey Wally, how can I check, or should I check if this is enabled or disabled in my system? Eventually can be already enabled, eventually can be already disabled because someone disabled this. This will not hurt. Definitely you can execute this and that's it. If this is already enabled, that's okay, nothing will change. If in your environment it is already disabled, this is going to enable it for you. Once again, we can see here success, and okay, we are good to go. All right, those are the commands that we need to run via CLI. In your satellite, we need to run this on your CLI. After that, let's come back to the whiteboard and see some information. I need to check my repos. So let's check the satellite web UI. This is also documentation. This is the satellite web UI. Where can I see my repos? Basically, content, Red Hat repositories. Let me reduce this. On the right side, you can see all the repos that are already enabled in your satellite. So we can see here that we have AppStream for RHEL 8. We have the base OS for RHEL 8. We have the satellite clients, as I mentioned before. There are some cool stuff here. I'm going to create another video about the cool stuff and how to use them, how to install and use them. This one, Wally, is this one a requirement? No, it is not a requirement. The base OS and the AppStream, yes, because you need the packets. And for the sake of provisioning, we have this one called Kickstart. And then you can see this is the AppStream, and this one is the base OS. If you notice, the version here is 8.9. Hey Wally, why did you pick 8.9? Again, this is just for learning purpose. If you say, Wally, I do need one version, the version is 8.5 or 8.6 because I have a third-party vendor software and I would like to deploy one machine in that specific version. This is the way. At the end of the day, this machine will be consuming content from the base OS. And the base OS of version 8 will turn available to your machine the latest version of that package, which means 8.10. So if you deploy 8.9 and proceed with the YUM update or DNF update, this machine is going to bump to 8.10. Same way, if you deploy one 8.2, the machine will end up with 8.2. If you type DNF update and you are consuming content from this repository, your machine is going to bump to the latest version. In my time right now, the latest version is 8.10. Okay, so here we can confirm that we have the base OS and AppStream. Those are going to be the one that will be providing content to my machine. After installing, I'll be able to do yum install something, and this something will be coming from the AppStream and base OS of my RHEL 8. During the initial installation, the ones that will be in use will be the Kickstart version. And at the end of the day, this machine will be a RHEL 8.9, will not be a RHEL 8.10, unless we wish. Cool, this is the repository configuration. Once I enable the repository, I need to sync. And where can I check or sync? You can click on Content, Sync Status. This is going to show you all the repositories that you have enabled in your satellite. We can click on Expand All. And here we can see that we have the 8. As I said before, 8.z, this is the latest version. And we have 8.9 for the Kickstart. And also the satellite client. If you take a look here, I have already this sync completed. Let's suppose that I just enable those repositories. I would like to sync. One quick thing that I can do is here. Click on Select All, and after that, click on Synchronize Now. This is going to sync the content for your repositories. Hey Wally, what else? There are another video here talking about the whole process about repositories, enabling, disabling, creating a sync plan. I'm going to leave in the card and then you can take a look. So let's move it on. Our repositories, they are synced, they are good to go. The next one is the Kickstart. We have also already the Kickstart enabled and synced, so we are good about this point. Subnet. Subnet is very important, guys. And Subnet will be available here. On the left menu, Infrastructure, Subnets. By default, there is no subnet, and I'm gonna create one. So let's click on Create Subnet. I can put a name. So let me do this. 192.168.86.0. I know this is my subnet. I can put here any name that will help me to identify this subnet. My network address 192.168.86.0. Hey Wally, are you sure this is the IP address? Definitely we can do a IPA 192.168.86. 168.86. Yeah, that's right. The prefix, this is one class C, so 24, and the mask will be 255, 255, 255, 0. The gateway, I know that the gateway here is .1, and the DNS server, I know the DNS server is 250. So we are good. Maybe the next question will be, Wally, where can I get those information? Because I have no idea about my network setup. You need to talk to someone who knows this information. Maybe you can reach out to someone from the network team and then ask, hey, what is this network? Do I have the DHCP or not? What is the gateway? What is this? What is that? They will be able to provide you all the information, the net mask, the full gateway. We can get this already. If you have one machine set up in that specific subnet, you can do IPA, IPR, just to see the router, just to see the net mask. You can get everything. But if you're not familiar with this process, this is not a big problem. You can go to the network team and say, hey, could you provide me the information about this specific network? And that's it. Okay, IPAM. The way that we are going to provide the IP address to this machine. We are not going to use this because, as I mentioned before, we are going to use the DHCP from that specific network. So definitely we don't need to worry about this configuration right now. If you have VLAN ID, you can set here. If you have a different MTU, you can set here. If you need to create some sort of link delay in your network, you can enable this one here. And the boot mode, again, will be the DHCP, because for this scenario, we will be using the DHCP. This is the basic configuration. I can put a description here if I wish. My best subnet. And there are some additional information like remote execution. Which capsule will be used for remote execution? Those clients who are set up in this subnet, then will be this one. I don't have yet a video talking about remote execution, but I'm already working on that, and soon we'll be here, which is amazing. Like your satellite can execute some stuff on your client in your content host in a pull or push way. Domain. Which domains will be work with these subnets? So if I have multiple domains, I can pick the domain that will be responsible for that specific subnet. In this case, I have just one domain, so I'm gonna enable this. Capsule. This is the most important. Keep this in mind. Now is the moment that you can say, okay, this is gold, this information is a lifesaver. And if you're not yet subscribing this channel, okay, we can wait for 5 seconds. You can go down below, click the button, allow the notification. Then once I release a new video, you get notified. All right, take a look on this. TFTP capsule. What is the capsule responsible for providing TFTP on this subnet? This is the one. HTTP boot capsule. Remember, we enabled that flag? Yes, this is the capsule. Discovery capsule. We will be using the discovery feature, so I like to pick this one. Okay, that's it. In parameters, there is nothing to do in parameters. Location, we have already this location. Organization, we have already our organization. Basically, that's it. We can scroll down, hit submit, and now we have our amazing subnet ready to roll. Let's move it on. After that, activation key. My activation key should be here. Content on the left menu, lifecycle, activation key. Then you can see that I have this AKRel. Basically, this is pointing to library, the organization view, and that's okay. I just would like to register my machine and land on library, the organization view. This is amazing. This is definitely everything that I need. And host group. Now let's play with host group. Host group is on the left menu, configure host groups. You can see that I have no host groups yet. So let's create one host group here. And the host group will be rel a.9. This will be the name of this host group. Content source, where this machine will be getting content, satellite.king.lab. Where is the lifecycle environment? Like I can use different lifecycle environments. I'll keep this simple. I would like to keep this on library. And the content view should be the default organization view. Again, I have another video here talking about content views and lifecycle environments and how to work with them, where if you have some questions or doubts about library, the organization view, what are those, that video is gonna clarify all the questions that you may have. Deploy on. I'm not gonna deploy this anywhere like on cloud or maybe a virtualization environment. I will just keep this as is. Then we have Ansible roles. If I like to use Ansible roles on this machine, I can. I can import and use Ansible roles here. I have already a video talking about Ansible roles on satellite. You can automate a lot of stuff. Amazing, pretty cool. In the network, check this out. The domain will be king and the subnet will be my bestie. Now you can think, okay, let's suppose that I have different subnets. Can I create different host groups for different subnets? Yes, you can. You're getting the point. But for this one, let's keep it simple. The domain will be this. I have this subnet as my visibility. I have no subnet for IPv6, and that's okay. In operating system, let's pick the architecture. My main goal here is rel a.9. And if you take a look here, we can see this Kickstart. And this will be available only after enabling and syncing the Kickstart repository. Because of that, we can see this synced content. Partition table. I'm gonna create different videos how to use a custom partition table. At this moment, let's just keep the standard. PXE. Let's use PXE Linux BIOS, the standard. You can set the standard password here. Okay, let's move it on. Parameters. If I like to add some parameters, we'll talk about parameters later, but will not be necessary any parameter at this moment. Location, organization, they are already selected, and activation key. This is important because remember, you're provisioning one new system. At the end of the day, you like to see this system registered against satellite and how that system is going to register against satellite using this activation key. Okay, we have the host group configuration. Let's hit submit, and here we are. Pretty cool. I believe we are good to go. Let's come back to the whiteboard. We have the repos, we have the Kickstart, we have the subnet, we have the activation key, we have the host groups, and now we need a content host. For the sake of the content host, I'm not sure if you're familiar with this little one. This is the Vert Manager from Linux, and this guy is amazing, pretty cool. So let's do this. I'm gonna create one machine. I believe you can see my screen. This is gonna be a manual installation. Which operating system? Let's type rel, and then we can see all of them. I would like to deploy a.9. This one here is basically for the template of this virtual machine, because if you create like a rel 7 or rel 8 or rel 9, some drivers, the internal driver, internal configuration for those virtual machines will change. So yeah, but not a big deal. Let's hit forward. My memory, I'll put 3000 or 3 gigs, the average. Let's forward. I will keep this storage, no big deal. We have this a.9. Let me customize. Let me click on network selection. In my case, I would like to set the interface to get from my network just to be able to hit my satellite. because they are connected in the same network. And let me customize. I need to do one thing here. So basically, the NIC is this. We can see the MAC address 5764. Let's click on boot options. Let's enable the network. Let's put this up and apply. And after that, let's install. So let's see what will happen. And now it is time to cross the fingers just to be sure that this is going to work. Basically, this machine is booting in the network. It is in that process of the DHCP. The TFTP is going to provide a file. Wow, look at that. We have an error. And Wally, what's going on? Let me show you. Was this on purpose? Always. If you see over here, we have the configuration. The machine was able to pick the IP address 192.168.86.166. I believe you can see that with the default gateway .1. And then we have the next server 192.168.86.45. Then we have the file name pxc linux.0. The TFTP is there, okay. And then something is failing, something is missing. If we read the documentation in our documents, we know that we have to do one more step. And what is that? We have to click on hosts, templates, provisioning templates, and there is this button, build PXC defaults. Let's click over there. Are you about to change the default PXC menu on all configured TFTP servers? Continue? Yes, please. Okay, some configuration was set in place. And now let's reset this machine. We can see the same process, DHCP. DHCP is going to provide a TFTP, next server. This client is going to hit the satellite server. We read that PXC file, and then, boom, we are here on this beauty screen. So this is the screen that satellite is providing to this client via network. There is no additional disk, there is no configuration. This is all network. We are doing a PXC boot. This guy is getting the DHCP, TFTP, pointing to satellite server, and then we are here. Remember this form undiscovered image, FDI. This is the guy that I mentioned before. If you press tab, you can see a lot of information over there. But basically, this is pointing to your satellite. We have the interface, the MAC address. We have the image. That in the beginning of the line, you can see boot/FDI image. That file is there only because we executed some steps via CLI to deploy the FDI. So yeah, pretty cool. Let's hit enter. So this machine is gonna boot up, is gonna read this information, and we start what we call FDI or form undiscovered image. Let's take a look on this screen. This is the FDI, and basically FDI is asking, hey, if you don't have the DHCP, you can just leave this. But if you like to pass some additional information, if you like to enter with some manual configuration, definitely you can. You can press the key here and provide some additional info. I will not do this right now. Again, for the sake of this video, this will be the DHCP. This should be totally automated or by itself. I'll just keep this as is. But there are some scenarios that we can pass some information that will help with the automation process. You can see the screen changed a little bit. Now this is the discovery. The first one or the one before was the DHCP. Let's wait for this one to finish. And here we are. So in this screen, let's see what this is telling us. We have the status success. This is amazing because this is telling us that everything up to here is good. We can see the MAC address. We can see the IPv4, IPv6, the discovery server, some additional information, and the kernel. That's okay. Wally, do I need to do anything here? Nope. That's it. This is all. On satellite though, there is this menu. On the left menu, hosts, discovered hosts. And then look this beauty. you tell me this totally deserves your subscription. The MAC address here is 5764. If we take a look on this one, 5764. By default, Satellite is gonna put like this. The name will be MAC and the MAC address of that server. We have some additional information like the modules KVM, we have the IP address, the number of CPU, memory, yada, yada, yada. If I would like to see some additional info, I can click on this server and I can see some facts, and those facts can be used by the automation. I'm not going to cover the automation in this video, but yes, what I'm saying is I can boot up one machine and base it on one specific configuration, CPU, memory, disk, whatever. That machine can install automatically one specific configuration or base OS. Like this machine with this amount of memory can be RHEL 8.5. This machine with this type of disk or this specific configuration can be RHEL 9.2 or RHEL 9.5. Or so yeah, we can do this. I'm gonna create a video. This is another video about provisioning process, not this one. From here, we can click on select action and provision, or if you are in the main screen, you can just click on provision. I believe you can see, or let me do this. Yeah, now you can see there is this button provision. So once we hit provision, look at that. We have the host group. Remember the host group that we said? That host group has already a bunch of information, so I don't need to set one by one because I have this beauty, and this beauty is gonna say, hey, I know everything because you did this configuration before, and then there you go. Let's just move it on, installing this machine based on the configuration that was made on this host group. So now you see, if we create one host group for RHEL 8, another one for RHEL 9, another one for RHEL 7, and eventually I can create 8.1, 8.2, 8.3, you see how beauty it is because I can just pick one specific host group and that's it. At the end of the day, the machine will get installed based on the information in the host group. So let's pick this one. If I click create host, what will happen is this machine will restart, will install, and we'll move it on. And at the end of the process or during the process, by default, the provisioning template is just saying, hey, update to the latest version. So this machine is 8.9, but whenever we install and we jump in this machine, I'll check the version and the version will be 8.10. And then you say, Wally, are you lying to us? Then stick with me. I don't want to do this right now. So let's click on customize host. When I click customize host, I can change some stuff. You see that the name of this server is MAC, blah, 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 the MAC address. Let's say that I would like to put this one RHEL 8.9. There you go. Now this will be the name of this server. Let's remove that dot. If there is something else that I would like to change, I can. But let's take a look. You can see that the host group was selected. And then we have satellite, library, the organization view. This is good. We set this already on the host group. There is no Ansible role. Operating system, remember? 64, 8.9. We have the Kickstart, Kickstart default as partition table, PXE Linux BIOS, the password, it is already over there. If I'm curious, because I know everyone here are curious, you can click on this resolve and you can see all the templates that will be used during this provisioning process. And definitely you can click on them and you can open them. I will not do this right now, just to keep the focus. Let's click on interface. Look this beauty. We have the MAC address. We have the IP address. We have the FQDN. Okay, I didn't do anything. I didn't put those information here. This information is coming from the FDI. Remember that boot when the machine boot up and then we pick the FDI, form and discovery image. The FDI collected a bunch of information, uploaded those information to satellite, and now satellite knows which is the IP address, which is the MAC address, which is the name or the interface or whatever, everything from that machine. Okay, we don't need to change anything here. Parameters. check this out. We have some parameters. You can notice that KT activation keys is the one that will say, hey, what is the activation key that this machine is going to be using? AK rel. Bonus time. I don't want to update my machine. Can I add a parameter here? Yes. And I will pick from my notes. The parameter is package upgrade. This will be a boolean and the value will be false. So basically what I'm saying is, hey, package upgrade, stay calm. Keep this machine on the version, the original version. The original version is 8.9, so let's keep this one 8.9. No need at all to update this one. In additional information, if you like to put some stuff here, you can, but don't bother. Okay, we are good to go. Let's hit submit. Let's see in the beginning. We can see some cool stuff. Let's keep this one here aside or not behind my head. Let's keep this one for a bit and then we can see what will happen. This machine is restarting the DHCP again. The DHCP is gonna provide a TFTP. Then we have the menu. Now you can notice that the menu is different. There is no additional entry. And why is that? Because now Satellite created this entry, this machine over here, and this machine is just ready to install, just waiting for some additional information. If we take a look on manage status, pending installation. So let's come back to this machine. Now we can see that we are booting. We are using a different kernel, VM Linux, init run drive. And what will happen is this machine is going to start the installation. I will show you the template that was created for this machine. Let's just wait for this to start because this is awesome. Let's resize this a little bit. Another very important point, specifically at this point of the installation, if your DNS or name server is not working properly, if the name of your satellite is not published correctly or not pointing to the correct IP address, yes, this process is going to fail because here there is no IP address. Here is just name resolution. The client is trying to reach out to satellite using the FQDN. If the FQDN is not available or if this machine is not able to resolve the FQDN of the server, then you stop here. And then you'll be able to see something like, hey, not able to resolve the host, blah, blah, blah. And it is simple to fix because whenever you set the DNS resolving the satellite properly, then there you go. You should be good to go. Look at that beauty. So basically what we are seeing here is we are checking Anaconda. This is the screen of Anaconda. We can see the installation is moving on. We can see the link, the repository. This is getting content from rel 8.9. We can see all those access, which means we set already all the configuration, the repository, the file system, the partitioning, the network configuration, everything. And then the installation is just moving on. See, the total size of the package is 603 megabytes or megabytes. This is downloading. So let me keep this one here for a bit. Let me change like this. Okay, this is the machine. If we click on details, we can see here the provisioning templates. And basically the Kickstart default is the one that will provide you the whole information. Then we can see the path. See, this is based on FQDN, not IP address. We have the repos. We have the network configuration, the root password, encrypted, some information, partitioning. I can use the full partitioning that will remove everything, or I can create custom partitioning. This is also in our documentation. I can add some additional packets. We can see the registration over here, all the deploy of the certificates, configurations. That's it. Everything is here. If there are some additional stuff that you like to do, definitely you can. I'm going to create different videos about provisioning templates, and all this stuff, the nice stuff about provisioning. But basically, this is the point. If you return to the hosts page, let's click over there. We can see this rel 8.9. This is the host group. and there is no last report yet. And this is because the machine is still installing. If I put over here on top of the green, you can see build pending installation. I can see that information here as well. So basically, whenever this machine finish, there is one callback to satellite server that will say, hey, I finished, I'm good. And then that pending will change to install. And that's okay. Next restart, the machine will see like a different menu, even getting information from the network, but will not be able to reinstall or reprovision unless you wish. And Wally, what do you mean by that? There is this button here. You can see cancel build. Whenever this machine get finished, the option here will be build. And if you like to rebuild this machine, you can click on that button. This will move it on to building or cancel build like they state. And if you restart this machine getting the information from the network, this process will just restart again, like doing all the installation, deploy all the configuration, the file system, installing the packets. And yes, this is definitely something good. If you have like labs and then let's suppose that you have 30 machines, 100 machines, you like to reinstall all of them with a fresh installation, same configuration, configuration, standard packages, this kind of stuff. Definitely you can put all of them in build state and voila, you can restart all of them. They will start reinstalling. At the end of the day, you have your environment, your lab, for instance, reinstalled based on your configuration, all the packets, all good, all beauty, all fast, all amazing. Pretty cool, huh? While this one is running, let me do another thing. I'm gonna create a new machine. This will be 9. I put 3 as well. 3 gigs. Same storage. Let's set the interface. I like to customize because I need to set my boot disk, enabling my network. We can see this one is 10 4C. That's it. Let's hit begin. This machine will boot up. Same process. This machine is booting up on the network. This will hit the DHCP. The DHCP is going to provide a TFTP. We'll point to the satellite server, next server. We have this form and discovery image. If I would like to set this one as my standard configuration, I can. My standard entry, I can. But again, I'm gonna create a different video just to talk about different scenarios when you should be doing that. By this one, for the sake of this, we can just move it on. FDI, form and discovery image. And let's boot up. I would like to show you a different behavior, a little bit from the previous one. We can see the machine behind is installing all the packets. We are getting to the end of the installation of this VM. So let me show you this. We can see subscription manager. So basically the post install section will be registering this machine against satellite server. And when I see subscription, you know what came to my mind? If you're not yet subscribed, please, let's do this right now. If you believe this content is valuable for you, if this content is helping you somehow, yeah, this is the time of subscribe, subscription. So we can see the machine got registered properly. We can see the information on the screen right now. And in a few seconds, this machine will restart, or we'll be doing some installation of packets if necessary, based on the provisioning template. So we can see the repositories. Let's see what else. I just realized that I made a typo. See, rel 9. So I'm not deploying rel 9 here. This is another rel 8. By the way, this is already ready to roll. I'm gonna show you in a few this one. But let's wait for this to finish. Look at that. We can see inside clients, the package. It is installing a package. And then we proceed with the registration. If I like to omit or to disable some of those, I can pass some parameters, and those parameters will drive if the machine will install or not, this package will do or not that operation or that operation. So I'm gonna create a different video just to show how you can check all the parameters that are available on those provisioning templates, and then you master on all those provision templates and all the parameters that you can pass just to enable or disable some features. So at the end of the day, you see that with some parameters, basically you can skip some steps or you can enable some steps just using them. You don't need to clone the templates and then write a new code and do this kind of stuff. This is gold. This is magic. Pretty cool. All the post steps are gone, concluded, finished. Right now, the machine will just conclude all this process, will restart, and whenever this machine gets back, there you go. The machine will be installed. Rel 8.9 will not be 8.10. I'm gonna show you. Look at that. The machine is booting once again in the network, and then I'm a little bit afraid because, okay, what now? This machine is gonna reinstall again. Like, is this a loop? As I mentioned before, as part of this process, at the end of the process of the installation, see, there is no more menu to install this machine. Now, if you like to, you can just boot up in your disk, and that's it. Let me show you one more thing here. We can see the status was pending installation. Let's reload this page. I can now see more information, see? And then this machine is installed. And many more information like errata, all the packets, everything else. So that means the machine got the information back. Okay, we are here in the machine. So let me access. This is the password that I set on my host group. I'm in. The version is 8.9. I believe this is too small. So let me do this. Let me copy the IP address. Let me go to the terminal. I'll connect from here. This is that client. So if we take a look on etc Red Hat release, this is 8.9. It is not the latest version because we said, hey, don't update. If I type dnf repo list-v, we can see AppStream and BaseOS. And we are getting content from the version 8, which is the latest version. And if I type dnf update, I'm not gonna update this machine right now, just to show you. Let's scroll up. We can see the kernel updates, and this is from 8.10. All the packets here are 8.10, which means this machine was on purpose provisioned on version 8.9. If I like to keep on 8.9, there are different approaches that I can use here. But as you can see, if I just run DNF update, this machine is gonna bump to the latest version, which is 8.10. Okay? Very cool. Let me show you this one. So this is the second machine. I just created this machine. Yeah, let me put this one here. We can see this machine is over there, ready to roll. Let's click on hosts, discovery hosts. I can see this one, and this is the next one. If I take a look on the MAC address, 10.4c, 10.4c. You know that before I went over there, I changed the name. I don't want to do this right now. I can just click here, 8.9, create host. And that's it. Beauty. This machine will proceed with the installation. And at the end of this installation, this machine, yes, will be on 8.10 because by default, the template is just going to update all the packages. So let's see if this is going to work. See the menu, just one entry, Kickstart default PXE Linux. This is going to start the installation, and that's it. Simple like that. And as you know, this video is too long right now, but let me give you one more bonus. let's suppose that you have like a third machine here, and this is your rel. Now I'll pick one correct, like 8.10, and put also 3 gigs. That's okay. And let's say this is my baremetal, my physical machine, my physical server. How can I do this? Again, this machine will be connected to my network. I want to customize. Let me enable the network, put this up. We know the interface here is EA27. And that's it. Let's suppose that my server is there, sitting there. I'll just copy this one here. My machine is not ready yet to install. Another approach that I can use is this. I can come to my satellite server, all hosts, create hosts, and then, okay, that machine will be also 8.10. They will get updated automatically. The name will be baremetal, like this. And if you take a look now, I have the whole information already, like all of them, activation keys. I don't care about additional parameters because I would like to see this machine getting updated up to the end. One thing that I need to do here is set my MAC address. This MAC address should be matching with the MAC address from my machine. I can do this for virtual machines or for baremetal. I'm just using, for the sake of this video, baremetal server. But as you can see, this can be used for virtual machine as well. Okay, I set all the information and then boom, I submit. This machine will get created on satellite. This machine is not created or not up and running yet. Like my baremetal server is just down. I just know the MAC address because I checked this before. I have my spreadsheet or my taxi editor. If you take a look here, remember, cancel build. So this build state is telling me that all the information in the backend in the network, like TFTP, is ready and waiting. So Wally, what you're saying is, if you just boot up this server, the installation will start automatically like magic. Yes. Let's take a look. And come on, guys, this totally deserves your subscription. You know that. All right, let's take a look on this. Same process. This is going DHCP. DHCP is gonna set the next server, TFTP, will point to satellite. And in that moment, what will happen is satellite will say, hey, I know you. I don't need to wait for you to click on FDI and get all the information because I already know you. You went to the satellite website, you set all the information, you put the correct MAC address. Keep in mind, correct MAC address. If you commit a typo, yeah, this is not gonna work. And then there you go. This is gonna install your machine in the same way as we did with all the other machines. Simple, easy, straight to the point, amazing, beauty. This is awesome. See, this one is already installing. And this one will start the installation. Okay, I will not be here keeping you with me all the time up to the end of the process because, you know, at the end of the day, those machines will get installed, updated, registered on satellite, and that is amazing. And with that said, I would like to thank you for your time. Again, don't forget to subscribe if you believe this content is valuable for you. Also, we have a Discord channel. Feel free to join us, and it will be awesome to have you around. Let me know in the comments down below if you are using already provisioning from satellite, what kind of challenges, problems, success. I will love to hear your story. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.